Cells are made up of different chambers with different functions, kind of like a house. And the building blocks of these cells are proteins. Proteins are a little like people in a house. Nobody does just one thing, right? We all have different functions depending on the time and the place in which we find ourselves. Each room has a function, and the proteins are there to carry these out, just like they do in a cell's compartments. Like people, proteins work together sometimes too. Recent research by Emma Lundberg at KTH's SciLifeLab shows that many proteins can be found in more than one location in a given cell. A bit like when Dad hands over the cooking to Mom and returns upstairs to wake up the children. Only instead of leaving the room, and this is where it gets a little weird, there's a duplicate Dad upstairs carrying out different tasks than the one downstairs in the kitchen. The body has thousands of proteins, and the blueprint for each of them is provided by some 20,000 genes. Proteins also communicate with proteins in other cells, a little bit like talking with the neighbor over the fence. And others have the task of transporting information, kind of like driving the kids to school. Each tissue in our body is like a massive city, with thousands of neighborhoods comprised of houses and buildings in which proteins do their daily work. The more we know about the work these proteins do, when they perform their functions, and where they do it, the better we can understand how diseases develop and how to target individual proteins to correct problems. The Cell Atlas of the Human Protein Atlas is a database that collects more than 100,000 images showing the physical distribution of certain proteins in certain cell lines. The database is open and freely accessible to more than 200,000 users on a monthly basis, making a contribution to medicine that really hits home.